This week's project, we did electronic dice. So here is a video of my dice working. You can see it goes through all the combinations 1 through 6 before a random number is chosen and then lights up. So the code that I used first looks like this. This is a code that I found on a website. I tweaked it to match my setup, but it had a lot of things that we hadn't discussed yet or I hadn't seen, such as this debug code and then the serial begin and things like that. So I tried this one and I couldn't quite get it to work like I wanted. So I decided to scratch that code and then found this code on another website, which I have tagged in my blog. And I tweaked this one to fit my setup and worded things how I would like it to be worded. And I got this one to work. So I defined all of my pins. I used 2 through 8, and then my button was on 12. I set up all of my LEDs as an output and my button as an input. Then I had the random seed code. When the button was pressed, it went through all of the LED combinations, like I said, and it went through them quickly at just 60 millisecond delay. Then it would choose a random number 1 through 6, and then there was a delay of 100 milliseconds. And then if the number chosen was 6, it would do the make 6 code, which is here at the bottom. Same with 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then it would stay on for 3 seconds or 3,000 milliseconds, and then it would go to blank and clear the dice. So for each of the numbers, I went through and I had a diagram made in my journal, which is also in my blog, of what LEDs would need to be lit up to show each number, and went through, and the LEDs that needed to be lit up, I listed as high. The ones that needed to be low, I simply just left off, and they would not be considered at all. So I did that for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then for clear dice, you can see I listed all of the LEDs as low. I saved this and uploaded it, and this is what we got. It took me a while to understand what the code was doing, and going through, I made sure to get a picture of each of the numbers that were lit up 1 through 6. Once I finally figured it out, this second code made a lot more sense to me. Then here is when I did my 100 dice rolls. So at first, there were 3 numbers that kept popping up. It wasn't until I think roll 26 when I finally got my first 3. So you can see 2, 3, 4, and 5 are all fairly even in their amount of rolls, but then 1 didn't reach 10 until my 100th roll, and then I had 25 rolls of 6. Something else I really enjoyed about this project was getting to do it at my grandparents' house, because my grandfather used to work for Texas Instruments, and one of the things he did was work on building resistors. So he talked to me a little about what he used to do with making resistors at Texas Instruments, and it was really interesting.